Is Kris Letang a lock? Not for the Penguins Hall of Fame. That's pretty obvious. He might even get his jersey retired in Pittsburgh. That's a conversation that we could have a different day. But is Kris Letang a lock for the Hockey Hall of Fame? My initial reaction is, yeah, why would this be a conversation? But then I think about it, and I look at a player like Sergei Gonchar, who, by all means, was not somebody who at the end of his career I would have said, yeah, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. But he's been eligible since 2018, and he is still not in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I would have thought by now that we would have seen Gonch in the hallowed halls up in Toronto. Over 1,300 games as an NHL defenseman, over 800 points. He was a top defenseman, like the top defenseman on the 2009 Pittsburgh Penguins team that went on to win the Stanley Cup, not to mention the team that went all the way to the finals the year before. Add on that he's a two-time All-Star. That resume, you would think, would make him a lock to be a Hall of Famer. And yet here we are. It's been since 2018. We're in 2025, and he's not there. And let's not forget the fact that the NHL Hall of Fame voting committee, the Hockey Hall of Fame voting committee, has had some misses in the past. I mean, Alex McGillney's going in this year. He should have been in 20 years ago. So there are players that for one reason or another slip through the cracks. Or there are a long list of players that don't get their just due from the Hockey Hall of Fame. So I do think that it is a valid question. Is Kris Letang a lock to make the Hockey Hall of Fame? And here's the thing with Letang. Last week, and I said there were two things that made me think of this. The Pens Hall of Fame on Saturday and something that happened last week. Well, last week, as many of you know, Kris Letang notched his 600th career assist. He becomes the 20th defenseman to do so, the fourth active defenseman to do so. But when you look at everybody else on that list, take out the four that are currently playing, you look at the remaining 16 players that have scored 600 assists from the defensive position. 15 of those 16 are in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Sorry to Gary Suter. He's the only one that's currently not in the Hockey Hall of Fame. That's a dubious distinction for one Gary Suter. But you look at Letang, and you'd have to imagine he joins the ranks of those other 15. You'd have to imagine that the other three active defensemen, Erik Karlsson, Brent Burns. Why is the last one escaping me right now? I don't know, but whoever it is, definitely a Hockey Hall of Famer. Not sure why I can't think of it off the top of my head. Put egg on my face. But I'd have to imagine that Kris Letang, that matched with the fact that he's a three-time, no matter what Hockey Reference says, and I don't understand why they have him as a two-time Stanley Cup champion. I understand he was injured in 2017, but he was still a very important piece to that team throughout the regular season. And let's just put it this way. If your name is on the cup 3 times, you are a 3-time Stanley Cup champion. Full stop, end of story. So the fact that he's a 3-time Stanley Cup champion, he was the top defenseman in the 2016 run. He would have been the top defenseman on the 2017 run, leading that blue line to victory. And the fact that in 2016, he scored the cup-clinching goal in San Jose. He scored the game-winning goal in the cup-clinching game. All of that matched with the fact that he's played for as long as he has with one organization, which does carry weight. I don't think there is any doubt in my mind, after thinking it through, there is no doubt that he, to me, is a lock for the Hockey Hall of Fame. The only reason that I had to do this thought experiment and make my decision on this week is because I feel horrible for Sergei Gonchar. And I thought, man, if they do that to Letang too, they shouldn't. He is a lock in my opinion. So he may not be first ballot, but I think that he will make the Hall of Fame. I don't, there might be a little doubt in my mind, just a little, but not enough for me to say it's not a lock. Like 99.99% is where I'm at this point. After thinking it through, after looking at all the numbers, after thinking about his career and what it has meant, the guy should be in the Hall of Fame. Let me know in the comment section whether or not you agree with that standpoint. I would imagine most of you will.